you might want to tune away if you're not into spoilers, because a lot of stuff is coming out. Now, of course, even though this stuff is coming out, it might not be 100% accurate. There's always going to be some things that are rumors that end up not coming true, but this is some interesting stuff from Microsoft, and I find it to be fascinating if even part of this list ends up being true, and I'm sure a lot of you will probably agree with me. And, listen, Microsoft doing a more traditional style show, almost like E3 back in the day, and I love the fact that they're doing that. This is exactly what I think everybody's been asking for, and I want to get it right into what we supposedly will see, because I think if this does happen, then you know what? It's going to be amazing, and people will have to start giving Microsoft the respect and sort of the admiration, maybe not admiration, but at least give them some of the respect that they deserve. I mean, coming back from with the Xbox One, it makes a lot of sense. So, according to this, Xbox is planning a Banjo-Kazooie revival, according to an actual developer. Speaking on a podcast, Modern Vintage Gamer, a respected content creator and developer at Night Dive Studios, claimed that he'd heard talk of a revival of the franchise and that it could be announced during the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. He said, and I quote, "Banjo will be at this show and it will be announced. I have spoken to a lot of people, and I'm not an insider, I'm a developer. But sometimes I hear things, and I was at GDC earlier this year, and there were some people talking about Banjo. I've heard that Banjo coming up for months now from different people. Something's happening with Banjo. What I can't tell you is what it is." According to that, he's admitting if he's unsure if it's a new title or a collection of old games. He said, "I feel pretty strongly that there will be a Banjo announcement at the show because, man, I just keep hearing about Banjo." He reiterated this multiple times before discussing Microsoft's lack of family-friendly first-party titles and how Banjo could fill that void. While dormant for some years following its original game, the Banjo-Kazooie franchise has been more prominent lately. Earlier this year, the first game in the series was added to Nintendo Switch Online, and Banjo and Kazooie were added as playable characters to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In 2020, Phil Spencer said that any revivals of classic Rare franchises were up to Rare itself. He said, "I leave it up to the studio in terms of things that they want to work on. I have a lot of respect for Rare and the work that they do. They do like building new things, and they've seen successes with Sea of Thieves. I think they're really excited about Everwild. But also the response to Battletoads was nice, and I think partner studio Delilah did a good job with the game. And so I think it's just always a balance. My inbox is full of, let every studio do this intellectual property. And also, why have you brought back Crimson Skies or Blinks yet?" Writing in the VGC column in September 2019, Banjo-Kazooie character artist Steve Mays called for an HD Banjo-Kazooie remaster in the vein of Activision's Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. He argued that following the Smash Bros. 4, a remaster project could further prove that there's significant demand with no expense spared in a new game. Now, Banjo-Kazooie have returned to Smash Bros. I've been surprised by the reception, he wrote, part of it being away for so long. He added that could the reaction of fans of Banjo-Kazooie and Smash persuade Microsoft to make another Banjo game? The revival of Spyro and Crash went pretty well after all. It's fairly safe to say that to gauge demand for a new game would be a remaster of the original two games. But again, they already remastered them on 360, and I think that they need to do more than just a remaster if they brought them back. So hopefully it would either be a complete remake or it would be a totally new game, because I gotta be honest, there's no textures and stuff in those are N64 games, which looks bad, and no matter how you slice it, it wouldn't look great. Now, one of the interesting things here is I actually interviewed Craig Duncan, the head of Rare, 4 or 5 years ago when he was releasing Sea of Thieves, and the interesting thing was, actually it was about 4 years ago, and we asked him about bringing back classic franchises like Banjo-Kazooie, and he said that Rare was really interested only in going forward doing new games, but that if a good studio came along and was a good fit, that they wouldn't mind having some of those old IP be brought back. So I think if it is indeed something that is announced, they will have to announce this, and it'll probably be a different developer. But there's probably a ton of developers out there that would love to do an IP like that. So I think that that's something that we could definitely see happen sooner rather than later. And I would absolutely love to see that. The other thing that came out is this: MachineGames developers are tweeted out how they're excited for the Xbox showcase. They're doing Indiana Jones, but it's also rumored that they might have a Wolfenstein game as well that could surprise, not only be announced, but maybe even stealth release. The Xbox Bethesda showcase is going to be wild. But what exactly is Microsoft going to show? Stuff like Starfield are likely going to be a lock. Looks like no Fable or Perfect Dark. It seems like Machine Guns, the devs behind Wolfenstein games and the upcoming Indiana Jones title, is pretty excited about the show. Here's what they had to say. We're excited for Sunday's showcase. Hope you guys are all ready. While partner and perhaps Machine Games is simply excited to see what their colleagues are working on, the wording here definitely seems to point to the studio having something to show. So what might we see? Well, it's possible we might see the new Indiana Jones teaser. Any sort of full reveal is unlikely. At last year's Machine Games said it would be some time before they had anything new to show. Granted, it's been around a year and a half since they said that, but still, don't get your hopes up too much. But there are some rumors, and I will also point out this. They announced a new Indiana Jones movie that's coming out next year. Indiana Jones is going in Fortnite. There's an Indiana Jones series coming to Disney+. They don't have to show much, but they can at least let us know some information on the game. I think it's a smart idea to do that. Is it third person? Is it first person? Let us know. Perhaps they're just excited, again, to see what's going on, but it's going to be interesting. More likely than that, though, is that we'll finally lay eyes on the next entry in the Wolfenstein series. Back in 2018, before the co-op focused Wolfenstein Youngblood was even released, Bethesda's Pete Hines confirmed that there was a Wolfenstein 3 in the works. So Machine Games has been toiling away on it for a while now, and it's definitely long enough to have a trailer and perhaps even a game to be ready. He said, absolutely, we're making a Wolfenstein 3. They said on stage that they're taking a break from the larger story to do Youngblood, but we all have to see how that ends. Of course, nothing's been confirmed yet, and so don't get too prematurely excited, but I would be absolutely surprised if they weren't doing that. We could also, there's rumors that we might see a Doom game come out, or possibly a Quake remake from id. So that would be something that would be pretty interesting from from fans and things like that to see in the long run. So there's a lot of things that are kind of going on right now. It's also heavily rumored that we're going to see Forza Motorsport, but there's also the negative side to that it looks like we might see that not come out till next year, targeting spring 2023 as the launch window, which I think would be a little bit of a bummer, since obviously, we're all looking for something to maybe salvage this year, and I do hope that they have something along the lines that can actually come out and, end up being, something worthwhile of releasing into this year. I know that it's been pretty barren and been pretty dry, so I think that's where people kind of want some of these things to come in. So I hope to see that, and I hope to see a lot of people just be excited, man. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. I think gamers should all be excited about stuff like this. It's like that old school throwback to E3 type mentality, and I love that. I think it's absolutely fantastic that we're seeing that, and I'm excited to see what happens in the future because of it. So with that being said, what do you guys hope to see? I mean, the Battle Royale for Halo leaked as well. Looks like we're going to be getting information on that. Hot Wheels DLC for Forza Horizon 5. Looks like we're going to see information on that. So much stuff. So much. Can't wait to see it. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. If you guys do watch the video, please leave a like on it. It helps it to be seen. And you know what? It helps the channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching. Let's all enjoy E3 tomorrow. It's going to be great. Thank you for watching. Crap Gamer, out.